Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing this fine Tuesday? I hope everybody's good. I'm doing well. I had a doctor's appointment today that went very well. Next week, I'm going to be having an ultrasound to see if baby Berg is doing what baby Berg is supposed to do. But in the meantime, I do maybe one or two vlogs a week and stuff. And this was my second one I've been sort of planning on doing because I've seen some stuff, and I just wanted to talk about this. Not letting people scare you, and really letting people put their fear into you. I've noticed something here lately regarding black women and black women going out to date and to swirl and stuff and date interracially and stuff. And dating is not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's an easy time and all this stuff, but you got to keep all your options open, and you got to do as much as you can. Use as many resources as you possibly can. So what I've been hearing is once people talk about their, dating horror stories, and hey, I like a dating horror story just as much as the next person, okay, and stuff, but dating horror stories from doing this or doing that, then they have some wonderful caveat to give to black women to not do that because it didn't work for them and all this stuff. Now let's be serious. Okay, some stuff may work for you when you date, and some stuff may not. That does not mean that it won't work for so and so because it didn't work for you. Now, a lot of people I know really swear by people introducing you to people. Oh, you should really let your friends introduce you to people. They all know people and all that. Yeah, I hate the setup. When I was dating, the setup was the one thing I was like, I had done the setup before. It had always turned into a unmitigated disaster. I'd always hated the setup and stuff, and I don't set people up. It's just a general rule of mine because I really do not like the setup. It never, to me, works out, particularly for me. Now, I don't like the setup, but I would not tell another woman, you shouldn't do the setup because the setup never works. It never works for me. It never does anything. So I'm talking about a conversation I had with there was some woman talking about matchmaking. And I know some stuff about matchmaking, but not a lot and stuff. But I do know people who have used matchmaking and have found matches and are married and happy and all that stuff. And I think it's great, but I don't really know a lot. So she said she had done matchmaking and it didn't work out, and she was so disappointed and this and that and all this stuff. And she started to let her own fear and disappointment sort of rule this conversation to sort of tell other black women, well, no, don't use matchmaking and stuff. And I stepped in and said, you know what? I don't particularly like the setup and stuff, but I would never tell somebody else not to do the setup because I don't like the setup. Because I have a fear of something, I wouldn't project that fear onto you and tell you to have a fear of something. When it comes to dating, you need to use as many resources as you can. Now, if one of those resources turns out to be really, really bad and does not work for you, then you need to stop. Sometimes you just need to stop dating when you're getting really negative and really, down on dating and stuff like that. But it's come to me that people's own fear in the dating realm is sort of ruling what they say, and I think they're passing it on is to other black women. And I'm telling black women, be careful. I go on a lot of I'm on Facebook a lot, and I don't really like those little swirl pages and stuff. I don't really, it's nothing I participate in. Not that I need to, because I'm married. But even when I wasn't married, there wasn't much I participated in because those things kind of reduced to sort of this thing of, this sort of lazy men and thirsty women are usually on those pages. And there's a lot of, women and not a lot of guys, and the women are really desperate for men and stuff, and they're so desperate and they're so thirsty for men that they're throwing themselves at men and stuff like that. And I'm really, those places I think are really bad places for black women who are trying to swirl. If you're a black woman trying to swirl, stay away from those places on Facebook where it's like, oh, black men that like, black women that like white men that love. No, stay away from those places. And one particular that I do Like, and I love it. It's actually really positive. It's not really a dating thing, which I think people are trying to make it into that, but it's not really a dating thing. And they've repeatedly said that it's not a dating Facebook. It's not some place where people go add me and, I'm thirsty and I really need a man and my baby needs a daddy and all that sort of stuff, and stuff. And, and they're really a positive, positive reinforcement for Black women who are swirling. But I think a lot of Black women get on there and they bring all their negativity about dating and swirling into there, which hurts other Black women. I've got two sets of things that I kind of do. I do stuff and I talk about people getting self-esteem, getting therapy, feeling better about themselves, but I also do some stuff about vetting. And when I talk about vetting men and making sure, hey, you want a husband, boyfriend, whatever, you got to sort of look really closely at this person. I come from a place of trying to give wisdom, not fear. And there are two things that are the wisdom and fear are different. They may sound alike, but they are different. There's the wisdom of me telling you something like, you know what, I suggest that you don't stick your hand in fire because, I may have stuck my hand in fire or I may have been near fire before and burnt myself. And I know exactly what's going to happen if you stick your hand in fire, and stuff. That's just wisdom talking. I'd rather you not get burned and get hurt by sticking your hand in fire. Now, there's also the part of me that's an irrational fear. That's an irrational fear that we all have about different things, and stuff. And that may be the part that says, I suggest that you never ride a roller coaster because you're going to throw up. It's going to be the worst ride of your life. You're going to hate it and all that stuff. Now, because I have this irrational fear of riding roller coasters, does not mean that if you ride a roller coaster, you'll be in the same predicament that I'm in. And so I try not to let any fears that I might have come on to you. Yes, I give you warnings. You could take those warnings. You could leave those warnings and stuff. But I don't tell you and let my own fear try to tell you what to do when it comes to dating and Black women and swirl dating. I want you to make sure that you're using your own head and thinking for yourself. That's why I don't really, I know people who give advice and all that stuff. I don't really do that stuff. You all are adults, and stuff. And most of the people that are on here are adults that watch this, that watch me on this. You can make decisions for yourself, and stuff. All you need to do is be given a few tidbits, critically think. You'll make it through and stuff. Hey, sometimes the decision won't exactly turn out the way you want. Sometimes it'll turn out fantastic, but at least you made the decision for yourself. I don't believe in hand-holding grown people and telling grown people what to do. I find that personally insulting when people do it to me. I don't patronize other grown people. I don't want anybody patronizing me. So I stay away from that and stuff, And so I'm not going to give you warnings about, well, what sort of dating you should do or what sort of stuff you should stay away from. Also, on many of these pages regarding, Black women and white men swirling and whatever else they're doing, or folks trying to, find love on Facebook and all this sort of stuff. And like I say, those are pages that I don't particularly hang out. And I'm not telling you not to hang out there, but there's sort of a thirsty element there and sort of a bunch of lazy men you can sort of tell and stuff, But the thing is, this conversation was about places to meet people, and possible resource places or things to use to try to meet people to date. And at first, there were a couple of white guys who were saying different stuff and some Black women. And then all of a sudden, there was this seep in of real negativity from Black women and stuff. And I was trying to keep it positive, keep it on, hey, you have a chance for this. Why don't you try this and stuff? But there was this negativity that all of a sudden sort of creeped in. The white guys, they left. They totally took off, went out of the conversation and stuff. And then the negativity and the negative Nellies started taking over and stuff. Let me tell you, ladies, happy, carefree, people with, good self-esteem, like happy, carefree people with good self-esteem. As long as you're out there with your negative Nelly self, with talking about your every bad date and how it's all so terrible and how these men are so terrible, really, as some, if you're doing this in the presence of other men, what happens is they start to think that something is wrong with you, because as most people know, every story can't be bad. Okay, and if every story is bad, it's really not other people, it's you. You're the only common denominator in the story. Okay, and stuff. So it's something that turns men off. It's something that black women should try to avoid doing, and stuff, and try to avoid being a part of, letting other people's fear or other people's own negative experiences start to affect you and stuff. It's something that we should not be participating into a conversation. Maybe we can turn those conversations around to more positive. I certainly tried to do so. I think it worked. The admin of the page did so, and she thanked me for my positive outlook on this. And I felt bad for the person who had the bad dating experience regarding matchmaking, but to somehow say that every matchmaker is terrible because you had one bad experience and stuff, which could have been a few things, is sort of short-sighted and stuff. So it's for you to sort of figure out where you're gonna get this stuff, but to not let other people's fear. Now, another thing I've noticed is white men coming on some of these pages, because like I say, I get stuff from other people. I get stuff from other folks. I get other people's feeds. I get other people comment on other stuff that they like and stuff. So I get to see a lot of stuff, and a lot of people that I know are people that are into swirling. So there are, black women, and, there are black women and a couple white men who are into swirling. So I get some other stuff here. So, and what I've been seeing is white men telling black women to do things that they shouldn't do during dating. But I think because they're lazy men, they give women these suggestions along with the fear factor of, if you don't do this, the guy will go away, and then women fall for it. Now, ladies, I'm just going to give you a little bit of info. I would be very wary of unsolicited advice from men that I don't know, okay, and stuff, because many men are looking for the path of least resistance. And they'll say what they need to say to not have to actually do any work with you. They'll say whatever it is they gotta say, and putting fear, especially into black women, which is quite easy because we're so fearful no one wants us. We're so fearful that no one will love us, or no one will find our beauty and who we are beautiful. We're so fearful. We've been ingrained with such a fear, that no one else will accept us, that we're really clingy and codependent and really sort of weirdly needy when it comes to wanting men to to validate who we are and stuff, and especially it's happened in the black community. It's just happening within the swirling community too, and stuff. We're coming in with those same mindsets and wanting that validation. And so when some guy puts the little tidbit or nugget out there that, well, if you play hard to get, no man is going to want you and all this stuff. He could just find somebody else. And you're thinking to yourself, well, nobody wants me already, and I'm already sort of freaked out about that. Well, of course he might be right. And then we go in and get trapped in that. Watch out for that trap. Because I've been noticing that. Men, hey, men will pull the okie doke wherever they can pull the okie doke. All men will do it. Men will pull the okie doke wherever they find the opportunity to okie doke. Okay, and stuff. And on these little swirling pages is a great place to okie doke black women, because there are a lot of thirsty black women on those pages. It is a opportune time to have a bunch of women chasing after you, like hungry, like they, hungry, starving animals and stuff, and, giving up everything with nothing, without getting anything in return and stuff. And as black women, most of us are used to sort of doing that. I had a reader of mine tell me something the other day, and I think she was a tad right, just saying something about black women and how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about who we are and stuff. And she was saying She was actually saying in her comments that, the bitterness and negativity are insidious and corrosive. And that she thinks one aspect it is that some black women are socially conditioned and have accepted the false notion that we are not worthy of love, happiness, good health, and all things good in all avenues of our lives. And that in order to have it that good, one has to be extraordinarily exceptional. And she said, but she thinks that mindset can change. I think that also. I think that's why black women do stuff or bring the negativity. We are as a group of women, most of us are our struggle. That is our identity. That is our identity. Most black women don't have an identity outside of their struggle. I mean, we will struggle with anything. Picking out clothes, and we'll bring it into a big struggle. We are not carefree women. Now, as a group, as a whole, we just are not. Now, I myself am a carefree woman, but as a group, I don't meet very many black women that are carefree. We love struggle. We seem to want to struggle. If we're not struggling, I don't think we know who we are and stuff. And so in struggling for anything, and struggling for education, and struggling for a home, and struggling for a job, and struggling to pay bills, and struggling, we never, and then once we get it, we still can't sort of appreciate it. And we think that if you haven't struggled as a black woman, because I've met a lot of these black women, if you meet a black woman and she thinks that if you haven't struggled for what you have, she thinks that somehow you're unworthy of it. I've had black women somehow seem to be upset with me because they feel like I haven't gone through some struggle to have the life that I have, and that somehow I don't appreciate it enough, or that I really don't deserve this life because, I didn't really struggle hard to get it. Are you joking? Are you kidding? Um, Struggle is not my identity. Struggle is not who I am. The life I have, I certainly deserve. Okay, and stuff. And, I'm not going with struggle. I'm trying to go with being carefree and being happy and being joyous. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. And so we're so sucked into struggle that we think that everything is just so hard and it's so impossible and it's just never going to happen and stuff. And then we get things and we don't really know how to accept when good happens to us and stuff, because I think my reader is right. We don't really think that we deserve happiness. Personally, I and have said it before, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be blessed all the time, all day, every day, 3 times on Sunday. Okay. Everything I got, I deserve. And I didn't have to struggle for it. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to, and stuff. I still deserve it and stuff. So when we get this stuff, so we're thinking we're going to have to struggle. We have to struggle for love. And we've been told that our struggle makes us really good black women, strong black women, because we struggle and, and stuff, and you can martyr yourself and all that stuff. And I just think that's a bunch of silly nonsense, and stuff. You don't have to struggle to do everything. You don't have to struggle to have happiness. You don't have to struggle to have love in in your life if that's what you want. You don't have to struggle. That's not a requirement. Please roll off the burden of struggle, okay? And be carefree. I know a few black women in my own life, and from women that I know on blogs, that are some of the most carefree, happy black women that I know. They're awesome. They're awesome women and stuff. And the lives they have, they certainly think they deserve, and stuff. And some are married and some are not, and they're still carefree and they're still happy. And they're wonderful people. And the happiness and who they are, it just exudes across, when I talk to them and when I see them and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not, my identity will never ever be a struggle. I will never ever think that I'm not worthy of the good that's in my life or something. And that, and stuff, because, well, I wasn't, it wasn't hard fought and stuff, and yeah, I have some knowledge and wisdom that was a little hard fought, but, I don't revel in that struggle. I don't act like it was the best thing in the world. It wasn't. It sucked. I would rather have not went through some of that stuff. That's why I tell people some of the stuff that I tell them, because I would rather you not have to go through some of the things that I have gone through and stuff. And so I'm trying to make it be positive. I'm trying to make it as positive as possible and stuff. So you can have the life that you certainly deserve. And I don't want you caught up in other people's irrational fear about what may possibly happen to you if you want to go out there and you want to date and you want to, well, hey, maybe you haven't met the man of your dreams right now, but to think that you'll never meet him unless you put yourself out there like bacon slab, or unless you act so thirsty and so, hungry and desperate for a man that you do anything. You'll never gain happiness. You'll never gain the joy of being loved unconditionally. You'll never gain the fullness of life being like that. There is nothing that draws good people to you when you're desperate and needy. Nothing. Okay? There is nothing. You can certainly find somebody being desperate and needy. Okay? But you will not find anything that draws anything good or full or happy by being desperate and needy in and of yourself. If you're coming out in your first dates and your first meetings talking about your struggle and all the hard times you had and all this and all that, you know what? In most likelihood, men will pass you by. I'm sorry, men like carefree women. And let me say it again. Men like carefree women, and stuff. You wonder why, a lot of other women might be getting dated, because those are a bunch of carefree women. Men like carefree women. They got enough cares on their plate. They want you to be carefree. Okay, they need for you to be a happy, joyous person. They don't need you immediately bringing your drama to the table for them to solve. Really, because be honest, that's what you're doing it for them to solve. Okay, and stuff. Men like carefree women. And so, if you're happy and carefree and mentally healthy and all that stuff, you will draw that thing into you. Don't let other people's fear. Don't let lazy men whose fear is not getting a woman because they're too lazy to do it, have you doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing as a woman when it comes to dating. Don't let other black women's irrational fear regarding one experience that they had, over at Match.com, kind of get you, off. And I know online dating is sort of, it's back and forth, but really, I think most people's online dating bad experiences come from people not knowing how to bet. That's it. That's all. If you knew how to bet, you wouldn't have half of these horror stories and horror dates when it comes to online dating. But people don't know how to bet because they're desperate and they're needy and they're thirsty and stuff. So I want you to not let those fears and that irrationality from other people about stuff that they're just, they just had a hard time with, and because they had a hard time, they think everybody else will have a hard time too, and stuff that has no basis in reality get to you. I would say that if you're seeing that on any pages, or if you're seeing that at any places that you frequent, you will think again about letting that into your own psyche, letting someone else's fear, the fear that you may not have even had previous to this, influence you and influence your decision making. Personally, I want the best for everybody. I want for you what you want for yourself. That's what I want. I want for you what you want for yourself and stuff. My point is not to make this kind of journey harder or to discourage you from even taking the journey. It's certainly worth it. And I'm just, sort of here to hopefully give somebody encouragement. That's something that I do. That is a gift that I have and stuff. And I certainly like to use it and, let people know that it's all possible. You can, the things that you desire for yourself, once again, you can certainly have. So, once again, I'll talk to you guys, later. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. Okay, see you guys later. Bye-bye.